looking for healthier, fuller hair? Do you want extra money for bills, trips, extracurricular activities for your kids, or do you want to replace your entire income? Monat is the answer. Our products are Leaping Bunny certified, vegan, and Monat can be used by anyone, including your kids and pets. Message me on my Instagram to partner with me. Founder shares are available, and as a market partner, you have access to uncapped bonuses, 45% commission, 35 to 55% off discounts, on top of all-inclusive paid trips. Right now, I also have a free gift for anyone that partners with me, so don't miss out. You can message me on my Instagram at LizChilvers87.
We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again, but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. And it feels alright when they come and say to you,
good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is Talk of the Toon and it is pre-recorded with me and Sid, pre-recorded on Tuesday, the 9th of July. Good evening, Sid.
How are you doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. As always, we've got a little bit of Newcastle and a little bit of music to discuss. Rob will be coming on in about 25 minutes as well to give us his input. Just want to talk about the new director of football, sporting director, whatever you want to call him. We've had a little chat about him on the fans forum last night, and overall consensus of opinion from people said was that he's a good man for the job. And although he may have come in as second choice to Dougie Freedman, he seemed to be the front runner for quite a while with Newcastle. He comes with a good pedigree. He's discovered some really good players for some of his previous employers, and he's hit the ground running.
I'm delighted with it, actually, to be honest. In fact, one of the articles I read was that he was the first choice and they felt that they couldn't get him because of the fact that he wanted more say in terms of the day-to-day running and selection process. So they went for Friedman instead, and then they went back to him. So that's the information that I read anyway online in terms of a newspaper report. How accurate it is, I don't know, but it's a pretty decent newspaper. So absolutely delighted with him. He was obviously the first choice. He was I'd seen another show when they did some sort of rundown on him, and his CV was fantastic. You think, wow, he's obviously the man that you want, and dare I say it, a good step up on what we've had previously, which is also significant. If you look at the players he's brought in, the likes of Son and Mane, and they're all top-notch players. Now, obviously, every player he's going to get is not going to be world class, or a top-notch player. But he's got the back record there, the track record to be able to say, well, I bought this, and they're all terrific. He'll have a few flops along the way. So it's about the amount of good players that you get over there and keeping the flops to a minimum. And so far, his track record is exceptional. And I think people forget as well, he went to Monaco to clear up the mess that was left by the old Chelsea director of football, Michael, I forget his surname now. and who's in Saudi Arabia now, actually, ironically, and of course went in and did a fabulous job, brought the average age down of the squad quite considerably, cut the amount of squad considerably down as well. So therefore, Monaco wasn't spending tons and tons of money. So he's done a fabulous job. You know, he's everywhere he's went. He's done a great job. I mean, I think he started off at, was it Wimbledon?
I don't know.
I know he was at. I think it may have been. He was a footballer and he retired very early through injury at 26, 27. And then he was at, I think he was at Wimbledon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then he was at Southampton, did a great job, and then he got headhunted for Spurs. Of course, I believe he fell out with the owner, which seems to be horses for courses. And then the rest of his CV is just terrific. Great shot, absolutely over the moon, because I'm sure Dougie Friedman would have done a decent job, but he wasn't. He didn't. His CV wasn't of the same caliber as Paul Mitchell's. And you look at Paul Mitchell's caliber and his CV, it's head and shoulders above everybody else. So I was thrilled that they went back in for him. Yeah, I still think somebody else will come in. I still think there'll be somebody else who will accompany him at a high level as well and have a different role within the club. What that'll be, I'm not quite sure, but I'm convinced there'll be another person. I'll be surprised if they just go down the same structure as what they had. I think it's a big job, and therefore, you know, spread it out a little bit like Manchester United have done. Actually, I hate to see it. It looks like they're sort of trying to structure themselves well as well in terms of breaking down the numbers. So it's going to be interesting to see the way it works. But yeah, all good, all absolutely excellent actually with regards to that. And there's a big argument he'll be the most important signing of the summer.
How important is his relationship with Eddie Howe?
Very, obviously. But also, and I say this all the time, he's also got to be ruthless if needs be, if the situation arises where it don't work between them. You know, at the end of the day, the director of football, in my opinion, should come above the manager of the club, and therefore, you know, he's got to be able to sort of have various different facets to the side of his personality. And let's be honest, though, most importantly, I get the impression that he's going to get on really, really well with Howe, and I believe it was Howe, from what I'm reading, it was Howe's, you know, have a word and sort of try and prize him in. So they must get on. They must get on. But, and I keep saying this, I want to see a director of football who has another side to his personality or her personality and is prepared, if needs be, to sort of, you know, go down the route that they want. You know, we've got to have 100% faith within the director of football. I think that's something we've really got to buy into. And I don't think that was the case previously. The fact that it looks like that we've given this guy a little bit more power.
He seems to have got a bit of a G, I guess, from the supporters as well, because it appears he turned Manchester United down. You know,
Class.
I mean, I don't think we'll suddenly be singing "He turned you down, he turned you down, Mitchell turned you down" at Manchester United's next fixture with us. But I mean, I guess what we were offering and what Manchester United were offering is clearly been the decisive factor, and that's not always down to money, but about freedom of expression within your job, I guess, and you know, guarantees of money to spend, I suppose, and you know, the bigger picture, the long-term plan.
Yeah, and you could certainly argue that getting Newcastle right is certainly a harder project in some respects than getting Manchester United right. So therefore, far more kudos with regards to being able to do that, certainly with regards to a project. And let's be honest, do Manchester United have they're always going to have a certain amount of money coming in. They're always going to have that because of the sheer size of the club. But are they going to be able to spend the money properly? Are they going to have enough money as well? You know, and I'm not actually 100% convinced. And it's a real. They're such an unusual situation regarding Manchester United. But for regarding us, I think everything's on the up with regards to that. So yeah, I think it'll be great. I think it'd be a fantastic signing. I really do. And as I say, I think the structure of the club will change a little bit because I really do think somebody else come and work with them. You know, I think they'll change their. Don't get me wrong. I think Ashworth's done a really good job at the bottom level, laying the foundations regarding the teams and the way that they play and the formations and starting to get the basics done. But he's only been here 2 years or so, even less. And he's, you know, how much can you do in that period of time? So it's up to Mitchell to come in and now build upon it and do a better job. And I think also, as I was saying before, I don't think he will have that strained relationship that appeared to be the case. Okay, I'll certainly been inferred, hasn't it? You know, with regards to Howe and Ashworth. So.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the Ashworth thing dragged on, but I mean, it looks as if we got a really happy, you know, a happy end, and which is what we needed, and you know, a financial reimbursement for, you know, for that as well goes into the you know, the PSR figures, and just glad to see the back of it, because things like that, when they drag on, it's an unsavoury thing, isn't it? For not just us, but for them as well.
Nobody knows the figures. We'll find out in due course. 10, 12. Something along those lines. It's a good deal. I mean, nobody paid for directors football before, did they? It's all new now, and so it's great. And it's if it's profit, there's a real chance that it's going to equate to about 40-50 million, isn't it? You know, that's over, if we're sort of amortisize or whatever the pronunciation of it is, and over 5 years. You know that you're talking about a really quality player there. That'd be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious if he allows us to then go out and buy a top-notch player as well. So good, absolutely fantastic.
Since the last show, we've now learned the opponents for the Cellar Cup. We've got Girona and Brent heading to St James's Park on the weekend before the big kickoff. The reason I said Brent is because I've been trying not to say Brest, because every time we say it in the chat, we get like everyone seems to be channeling that inner Sid James and Barbara Windsor in the chat, which I'm sure will be happening again now, even though we can't see it.
I mean, Brest, you know, they've done really well. You know, but are they really the sort of club, you know, that you want to see at St James's Park? I mean, you know, they might have their knockers, but there you have it.
There we go. Hey! Keep it clean. But you know, the two
they've done really well recently. They've done really well.
Both finished third in the division, and you know that in itself means that they're worthy opposition for me.
Yeah, it does. It's just if I was to go, they're not the sort of clubs I'd rather see a bigger club there, to be perfectly honest. But you know, fair dues. They've done really, really well, and there'll be a great challenge with regards to pre-season and on all the build-up. But I'd personally rather see a bigger club. I'm not going to.
So how big a club would you want to?
I'll tell you what the club. Well, we'd love to see that, wouldn't we? But you know, one of the big German clubs, for example. But I'll tell you what they could have done. They could, and if they were clever about it, they could have got one of the top Saudi clubs to come and play over. Bring Ronaldo and a few others, you know, or whoever it may be. That would have been a really clever way to sort of build a bit of business in, you know, it really would have been. But I would like to have seen us say one of the big German teams or one of the big Italian teams or so on and so forth, even one of the bigger Spanish teams, to be, you know, perfectly honest, to come over. They're not top level, I think is the phrase I would use. I know that's very condescending. It's not meant to be. They're just not big. They're just not big names, are they? You know. But you know, look forward. It'd be great for the kids. Great for the kids to get to go to. And I used to love the pre-season friendlies. And I generally go as well. I have to say, I do generally go. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make this year. I think I may be away at that weekend. So I'm still trying to find out yet.
I mean, the club did listen on prices. I'll give them that. I mean, you know, they've reduced the overall cost of going to the games, which makes it easier for families. I'm not. Yeah, they had to, really, didn't they? You know, they have to. It's a friendly, and also, is there anything worse than going to a game than seeing about 9 substitutions at half time or something? You know, so you get that aspect of it as well. But, you know, no, well done to the club. Well done to the club. They brought the prices down. You get the opportunities for parents to take the kids there. And if there's 4 or 5 here, it can be a really, really expensive day out. And remember, at the end of the day, the club are going to score anyway. Keep the prices low. But you know fine well that the club the kids will go to the match. They'll want the new top.
So they'll go and buy a top beforehand. They'll buy some food and drink at the match. So, for example, it's the same at the England game recently. There was like the amount of food and drink sold amongst the young'uns was unbelievable. It was never like that normally for the match. It was just everywhere you went. Everyone was like eating sort of nachos and scoffing burgers everywhere. So there's definitely good revenue there. But as I say, if you've got a couple of little kids with you, more than likely they're going to say, oh, can I have the new top, or can I have this, that, and the other? And they're going to spend some money in the club anyway. So keep the price of the tickets down and allow the parents to go out and buy whatever else that they need. And I think will the new store be open by then as well?
Possibly, yeah. The stack's going to be open.
Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of little income, but more importantly for the kids, for some kids, it'll be their first. It's just fantastic, and we all loved that first game that we went. So you've got that real excitement. I think your first game was a testimonial, wasn't it?
It was,
so
yeah.
It's a form of a friendly, isn't it? So you know what it's like, and it's fantastic. And that one moment never leaves you. You know, that first time you walk through the, you walk through the turnstiles and you into the ground, and that sort of sense of wonder as you look at, you see. You see all the people there, and you see the ground, and you sort of take in the atmosphere. So fabulous! It's just beautiful, So yeah, that's thrilling for them, and I always get a buzz when I'm sat there, and you'll see the kids walking in, they're going, oh, and they're looking around and they're taking it all in. And that's lovely to see. It really is, It's a real thrill, and you got the parents going, oh, it's our first game, or it's his first game, and it's just lush. I remember I've took my daughter. They're not football fans. The eldest saw a little bit, but I took them there, and they'll go, oh yeah, and you go tell all your mates, oh, it's my daughter's first match, and it's just lovely, and then you pray that they win, or they're an unlucky flipping omen. so you get all that. It's just lush. It is fabulous. It's just such an exciting time going for the first time. So well done to the club on that front.
You go back to the 70s, of course, and we had the Texaco Cup. I mean, again, it was something I mentioned on the fans forum. Would you ever think that you could go back to something like that? I mean, I know, Middlesbrough and Sunderland are both in the Championship, of course, but it would be a logistical nightmare, I guess, for Northumbria Police. They would probably.
I know, and I know that's the downside about it, in terms of it's become so bitter over the last 25 years between Newcastle and Sunderland. It was never. Tell me if I'm wrong. I might be totally wrong here, but it didn't seem to be as bad as that 40 years ago. Days.
Yeah,
in terms of the animosity between both sets of fans. I don't think you could do it. I really don't think you could do it, and that's a real shame. That's a real shame in some respects. It's like the home internationals.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I loved the home internationals at the end of the season. It was just fantastic. And it really seemed to mean something as well to the other nations, So they put their top teams out. And it was always exciting to watch. I mean, England and Scotland was just a great way to end the season off. It was always magic, I mean, all right, the mad scenes of like the guy sitting on the goalposts and that, and at Wembley, and but it was always that exciting, or watching the thrill of Wales winning it one year and all that, and some of the great England teams that we had then as well. I always loved all that, and I agree with regards to the Texaco Trophy. It's just a shame. It is just a shame in some respects. I love. There's nothing better than a good derby game. I mean. And it's a different context as well, isn't it? So yeah, shame. It'll not happen. It'll never happen. It's just a shame they couldn't do something else. Like a little nations game, one from Germany, one from Spain. I know they're sort of doing it with a cellar, but and just to vary it up a little bit, that would have been nice.
TV's taken 4 of our first 6 Premier League games, and Newcastle will be live on Sky, 2:00 Sunday, the 25th of August against Bournemouth. Following weekend, September the 1st, our home game against Spurs is now a Sunday game, and that will be on Sky. Kick-off to be confirmed for that one. The 15th of September is another Sunday game away, 4:30 kick-off against Wolves, Sky TV. And then we've got 28th of September, Manchester City at home, a 12:30 kickoff, again on TNT. So TV already getting involved. It's good financially. It's sometimes a bit of a ball ache for us, though, Sid, as football supporters, when we get games where we look at thinking that's fantastic, Saturday at 3 o'clock, and then it gets moved to a Sunday at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time, and it just suddenly becomes an absolute nightmare for people travelling. And, not necessarily just fans who are travelling away, but even exiled fans who are having to travel up the country to come to a home game. So already there's engineering works on Sunday, August the 25th, which means there's no timetabled southwest train services between London and Bournemouth, and no sign of any bus replacement services yet, although they may well still come.
It's not just them. Sometimes the metros are off. It's a nightmare trying to work out how to get into town.
But it's a poison chalice at times, but financially it's good for us.
It is. I mean, I have a real issue regarding, let's say, Brighton coming to Newcastle, and let's say Friday evening at 8 o'clock. I personally think that's atrocious. I really do. I think that's atrocious. I love Friday evening kickoff games. I have to say, I'm not going to deny it. I love those sort of kickoff times. But unfortunately for Newcastle, we've got nobody who's within the vicinity. We don't have a Middlesbrough, we don't have a Leeds, where it's not a shocker, if you like, to get there and back. And what I also hate is the time I hate the most is 12:30. It just stinks. You've literally got up, you've had something to eat, you've got the match, and it's like, it's often quite flat. It's often quite flat beforehand, and it takes a bit of oomph to sort of get the place bouncing. And in some cases, that's because the number of fans beforehand haven't had a drink beforehand. I personally tend not to go drinking before the match and go afterwards instead. But it's a bit of that as well. And it's, I hate 12:30 kickoffs. I really do. 5:30s, I don't mind at all. Again, but it's just going back to the whole point again of all fans able to travel within reasonable distances. And that is my big bugbear. And the Premier League don't care with regards to it, regarding the fans. The TV companies don't care. I mean, what was it? The one that really got me was Crystal Palace and Brighton was cancelled due to some sort of train issue.
Yeah.
And yet Newcastle to Brighton wasn't cancelled, despite the fact that the trains were on strike. How does that work? I mean, that makes no sense at all. None whatsoever. I don't understand it. So I don't think they're bothered. I genuinely don't think they're bothered. And then there are certain teams, I think it's at Liverpool, who've got the record for the amount of times on at 12:30. Their fans must could be demented with regards to that, because it's just not great. It's just not great.
It's not just us.
It's not just us. Man City often seems to be a 12:30 though, for some bizarre reason. I don't quite understand that one. But yeah, the fixtures, going back to the fixtures, really favourable. And I'm expecting a big points tally up to Manchester City. And we'll see where we're at that point. And very optimistic.
Certainly will. Just got a few events to plug. Danny Mitchell has got this exclusive Rugby World Cup 21st anniversary celebration dinner with Martin Johnson, CBE. It is in aid of the Dean Fox MND Foundation. It's Friday, the 12th of July at the Crown Plaza in Newcastle. Last chance to get tickets for this. Drinks reception at 7 o'clock, 3-course meal and coffee. For further information, contact danny@changefr.co.uk or mobile number 07817 412 524. The end of season due is coming very soon, 20th of July. Tickets for that from newcastlelegends.com or nufcmatters.com, priced at a tenner, all in aid of Dementia Matters. And Supermat, Gibbo, George and the Longsands providing the entertainment. And Gibbo has an event on at the Gateshead Leisure Centre, and that's an evening with Rob Lee, Friday the 2nd of August. And your tickets for that are £30 and available from Gateshead Leisure Centre. And just looking a little bit further ahead, Peter Beardsley, there are tickets already on sale for his show at the Tyneside Irish Centre. That's the 10th of January next year from NewcastleLegends.com. Standard tickets start at £30. And an evening with the entertainers. Tommy Wright, Kevin Scott, Steve Watson, Steve Howie, John Beresford, Scott Sellers, Rule Fox, Peter Beardsley, Rob Lee, Keith Gillespie, Liam O'Brien, Darren Peacock, Paul Bracewell, Lee Clark and Brian Kilcline are all at the Tyne Theatre on the 24th of January next year. Box office for that is 0844 249 1000 or the website Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk. Some great events coming up. Get yourself onto those websites and phone those respective numbers to buy your tickets today. Okay, quick ad break and we will be back with Rob and the music.
A big thanks to all our sponsors. Skips and Bins. You can find their website at skipsandbins.com. Contact us www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk. Telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to United Group Travel. They are the Travel and Tourism Award winners in 2024. Their website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. A big thanks to Media Arts. You can find them at www.media-arts.co.uk. And don't forget, we are a podcast. You can find us on iTunes or Spotify or other podcast providers. If you want to help the channel grow, then hit the like button, the little thumb underneath the video, click share and share to your social media, or join the channel for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to take out a one-off payment membership, go to nufcmatters.com and hit membership. And for a £25 fee, you get a scarf, a cup, a pen, and a membership card. You can also put a smartphone over the top of this QR code. It'll take you straight there. And don't forget, we also help the food bank on this channel. NUFCfansfoodbank.co.uk is a website where you can make a virtual donation today.
And it's that part of the show where we welcome Rob. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm okay. Put your hand up if you can't hear me because I've not got internet installed yet. It's happening in 2 days' time, so the weather's really bad here. So it's very, very jumpy. So if you don't hear me, put your hand up, sort of thing.
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. And you've just done a moonlight
frozen.
You've done a moonlight flick from your band practice as well, Rob.
I can't hear you at all, but we're rehearsing. Yeah. I'm just going to keep speaking, Steve, because you're frozen. And Sid, do you remember Max Headroom in Channel 4?
Yes,
remember that? You're both frozen, but if I'm okay, it's fine. Just halfway through rehearsal. We've got a 3-hour set on Saturday, so we're doing that. So the album this week is Faith No More. And that was this is a dedication to Rachel, who's just subscribed to us and given me the inspiration for this album. So yeah, it's a 4th album, 1992 on Slash Records. I've put it as alternative metal, hip hop, rap. Singles, Midlife Crisis, A Small Victory, Everything's Ruined and Easy. Got Mike Patton on vocals, Mike Borden, brilliant drummer, Billy Gould on bass, Jim Martin guitar, Roddy Bottom keyboards. So it opens with Land of Sunshine. I think it's one of the best bass lines I've ever heard in my life. It's absolutely so powerful. Very colourful song, very theatrical. Mike Patton's vocal range is absolutely outstanding. Of course, he's got his side project, Mr. Bungle, as well. This took me a while to get into the album, and just something clicked. Been listening to it all week. So yeah, brilliant song. Track 2 is called Caffeine. Brilliant lyrics on this. It's open saying, relax, it's just a phrase, you'll grow out of it. Brilliant. Pounding drums again, really hard, heavy guitar riffs on this one. Like Mike Patton's vocals remind me of a machine gun. It just keeps loading, firing. It just, the ranges, the tones, it's unbelievable. You've got Midlife Crisis. This was a smash hit on MTV, played a lot. Very disturbing video to this one. I think this is hip-hop themed. Nice, so I like hip-hop drum beat as well. A vocal hip-hop style. Nice underlying keyboards in this one. Sort of like aggressive whispering vocals. Is massively played, like I say, on MTV. It's a good video. Quite disturbing, but I like that. Then you've got track 4, RV. This is a jazz-based blues sort of bar feel. Sort of like an entertaining spoken word again. Again, Mike's lyrics, I ain't about to guzzle no tears, so kiss my goddamn ass. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Straight to the point. Then you've got Smaller and Smaller. Again, solid intro. It reminds me a bit of AC/DC sort of style, especially the drumming. A heavy chord, really heavy distortion in this one. Very atmospheric. Nice mid-late section. It's quite a haunting song. Really good though. You've got Everything Ruined. Piano intro. Really good song. It's sort of like a radio-friendly song. Hard slap funk bass playing in this one. It's really good. Stands the test of time. Nice piano throughout as well. Again, I love the hard chorus on this one. It's like a uplifting, inspiring song for me. You've got 7, Malpractice. It's sort of like a death metal vibe on this one. Very dark, deep horror movie sort of style feel to it. This is just what I'm picking up now. I'm hearing it again for the first time since the 90s. I think it's the heaviest song I've heard Faith No More do. You've got Kindergarten. Guitar riff in this one. It's, for me, being a drummer, saying that it's a big thing. Very atmospheric. It's not a lot to it. It just seems to go in the right direction. Again, vocals, unbelievable. Then you've got Be Aggressive. So again, it sort of like reminds me of Phantom of the Opera, sort of theme, the original Phantom of the Opera. Again, wah guitar effects on that. I love that. Slap funk bass. It's brilliant. I think that's my favourite song on the album. They still play that live. They split up for a while, back together now, still playing festivals. Then you've got A Small Victory, Oriental based, very Oriental style sounding, great mid-tempo, nice keyboards. I think the keyboards carry this. Songwriting in this one again, amazing, really good. Then you've got Crack Hitler, again, wah intro, bass and drums bring this together, sort of like an air raid siren in the background, hard hip hop jam style song. Brilliant tom work by Mike Borden. Love that. I love his style. You got Midnight Cowboy. This is unexpected, sort of like a downtime time. The album comes to a close. It's quite an emotional instrumental. The last song, Easy, by it was covered. Commodore's originally done it. All I can say is this is better than the original, hands down. And I'll say that as well. The Stranglers, I think Walk On By, Stranglers version, it's absolutely outstanding. So yeah, I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's me. Hopefully you can hear me.
Good stuff, Rob. Thank you very much for that, mate. We'll let you get back to your band practice. Fighting on as you did, but we did get it all. Perfect delivery, good. As always. And it sounds like you've got your internet sorted. So if you have got your internet sorted, just quickly, what were you rehearsing tonight?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the songs, but I think there's about 38 songs. So I've done half of them, ran here, going to head back. The guys are just sort of waiting on me just now, but it's over a 3-hour set, but it's very demanding. So we're playing live this Saturday in Montrose in the Northern Vaults. So yeah, and then we're playing in Arborough for a couple of weeks after that. So
have a good one. And here's your album that you weren't going to review, Pat Cooper, Spaghetti Sauce and Other Delights. So thank you for that, Rob. Get back to your band practice. See you next week, mate. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
Cheers, guys.
Great to see him. Thanks to Rob for coming on as always. And over to you now, Sid, for your Songs from the Attic 1977 selection. And those of you who are tuning in for the first time, that is Sid's YouTube channel, and he reviews music and albums and ranks them on there. So get yourself on there, give them a sub. So what have you brought to the table today, mate?
This band, the Magnificent Blondie, and I've gone with Eat to the Beat. Everybody knows Parallel Lines, of course. But I've gone with Eat to the Beat, which for me is equally a brilliant album. I'm just going to read some of my notes, yeah. I've made some pointers. It's a classic album, released in September 79, so exactly a year after Parallel Lines. Basically similar style to the previous album. This was the fourth album. Is that right? 1, 2. I think it is. It's a brilliant album. It features the classic lineup: Clem Burke on drums, Jimmy Destry on keys, Nigel Harrison on bass, who was British, by the way, Debbie Harry, Frank Infante on guitar, who I love, and Chris Stein on guitar as well. It's just a fantastic album. It really is. Just 46 minutes of sheer pop, punk, new wave, a little bit of disco brilliance. Numerous classic songs on it. You got Dreamin', Union City Blues, which is also an absolute belter. It's about part of New York. It's on the New Jersey side, and so that's a cracking song. But I see the album kicks off with Dreamin', which is just an explosion of energy with Clem Burke flying around the kit and just really setting the template for the album. There's a real funk song that follows afterwards with The Hardest Part, which is like a USA was a USA single, but it's also, you can sort of tell how it influences The Clash as well a little bit later as well. Talked about Union City Blues. So you've got other great songs on it. Slow Motion, which is like got a sort of almost slow Motown feel. Sheila, beautiful song that is. Die Young, Stay Pretty, great title, great song. Not sure exactly who or what it's about. Some said Keith Moon, but I'm not quite sure. It's just fabulous. We've then got other great songs, as I say, Eat to the Beat, which again, really fast, really catchy. If you get the chance as well, this was one of those first ever albums that's recorded. Every song was recorded as a video. I think it's out there on YouTube, actually. And it's a great video album as well. I used to have the video recording of the album. Accidents Never Happens, really fast, really driving, really powerful song. Then, of course, you got Atomic, which was a #1 in the UK. Brilliant disco, pop, punky sort of song. Got a softer side song with Sound Asleep, which is beautiful, really gentle ballad. And then you've got absolute mayhem for the last two songs with Victor, which is just bizarre. That's all I can say. You've got the drums going off and the back and vocals just going, oh. And then a song called I'm Not Living in the Real World, which is basically, it could be the Ramones in its fantastic song, a top song to go out on. So a really great 5-star, top-notch album. Cannot speak highly enough about them. Probably their last great album, I think, if I'm being brutally honest. After that, they sort of dropped down a little bit in terms of quality, but they still released great singles. What a band. What an absolute band. Book-wise, I've gone with, to blend in, I've gone with Debbie Harry's Face It from 2019. Now, a couple of quick notes here. This is a weird book, really bizarre. There's some really weird things in the book. I mean, put it this way, she has a chapter towards the end all about, I think it's all about thumbs. You know, just some random chapter about thumbs. But it's a really good book. Obviously, it describes, you know, how she, you know, her background and how she rose up. And I mean, she was 32, you know, when she had her first hit single with Blondie.
Wow. Yeah,
32. I mean, best looking singer on the planet, let's be honest. Possibly the most photogenic woman of all time, in my opinion. She had some really odd life experiences, though. I mean, when she was young, Buddy Rich, the famous jazz drummer, chatted her up and followed her home at the age of 12. That's a bit weird, let's put it politely.
It is. Very strange.
Yeah, weird. Ted Bundy, she got escaped from Ted Bundy's car. In about 74, yeah, was on the point of trying to kill her. Escaped out of his car. So, I mean, that's another crazy story. And then she discusses the rise of Blondie and the CBGB scene and how she got involved with Chris Stein, who she's still very, very close friends with. It's really well written, really funny. she's quite promiscuous throughout the book as well. At times, she talks about it. So there's some really eye-opening anecdotes within it. But a fabulous story, really worth reading. And she comes across really, really well, of course, as well. She's terrific. But yeah, I love the front cover there with the little dice and the safety pins, inferring that she's rolled the dice, took a chance in life, and there's safety pins referencing that sort of punk aspect of Blondie. So yeah, top notch. I absolutely love Debbie Harry. Just brilliant. Bless her is what I'm going to say. Yeah, just what a great band. Top band.
Have you seen her live a few times?
Yeah, a number of occasions. So I first saw them on the comeback tour in '98, I think it was. They played the City Hall during Maria obviously was number one at the time, and they were fantastic. And I think they finished the gig with "I'm Not Living in the Real World," just hardcore punk song to finish with. Oh, that's brilliant. What's great about Blondie as well, every single member of the band wrote different songs. It wasn't just a duo; it was different members of the band. And the first thing that they all refer to as well, they were a band. It's not all about Debbie Harry. They were a great band. I mean, Clem Burke's one of the great drummers. So fabulous. Love them. Absolutely love them.
And is it Glenn Matlock's played with them a few times?
Yeah, Glenn Matlock's now the current bass player. So yeah, Matlock's the current bass player. I mean, recently I saw Glenn Matlock playing, did the Iggy Pop thing, which I mentioned on a previous show, and Clem Burke was the drummer. So, and on the video screen, you had Debbie Harry introducing each member, like the pair of them on some sort of video footage that they got. So yeah, top stuff. Great musicians.
And on your YouTube channel, Songs from the Attic, you have already done your top 10 songs.
Top 10, and I did it with Billy Trey off one of the other channels, actually. So Billy, great lad. So it's very short show. It's only about 25 minutes long. Just give it a quick watch if you're interested. There's some unusual choices in there. I know I picked a couple of unusual ones. Billy's number one. I could have been there 15 minutes and I wouldn't have guessed what he would have at number one. It was such an unusual and odd track to choose. So good for him. So yeah, enjoyable show. We'll get around to the albums one, but I'm waiting for a new album to come out. I know they've recorded it, but they haven't released it. So then I'll rank the albums.
And whilst we're here, I do want to chat a little bit about AC/DC. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Despite the fact there's only two of the members there now, Brian Johnson, of course, and Angus Young. Worth paying the admission money for Angus Young alone. And ultimately, there was bangers all the way through. I mean, AC/DC's back catalogue, if you haven't heard it, is
magnificent.
A good smattering of the early stuff as well as the later stuff. The crowd were all up for it. Brian, apart from saying good evening and welcome and let's rock and roll at the start of the gig, never spoke again. Never spoke again. He was spending most of his time at the side of the stage in between songs, getting a breather and having drinks of water. A couple of times his voice failed him and he was gutted, you could tell, but 95% of the time I thought he was brilliant. And it was an Angus Young masterclass. He was in absolutely brilliant form. And it's a gig I'll always remember. It was my first ever gig at Wembley Stadium. But for me to be able to say that I'd been there and seen AC/DC was a massive tick in the box. And yeah, I didn't see the full band, if you like. I was too young to see the original.
Yeah, I mean, Born. I was too young to see Born, but I did see the other lineup, the second classic lineup, if you like, and they were great. It was funny because Tyne talks quite a lot normally.
Didn't say a dicky bird. He was knackered.
It's quite funny because when he talks, he go, "Hey, how you doing? Lovely to see you." And then next week, this next song's called, and it's so weird. He like flips from this American to suddenly a broad Geordie. It's really quite funny. It's quite funny.
I felt for him because it was clearly just he was just preserving his voice. I think for singing, I think that was the key. But big shout out to Pretty Reckless as well. If you haven't listened to them, give them a try. They were the support act and have been a support act. Pretty Reckless.
I'll check them out.
And she, the lead singer, is quite something. She's a child star. If I remember rightly, she was in a movie as a youngster, and she's now the lead singer of this band. And they're very good, a heavy metal band, and it was ideal I've got to say, for the gig itself, they were an ideal support. But yeah, Pretty Reckless is the band to check out. They've had gigs, in the UK before, and she'd been bitten by a bat. The lead singer, she'd actually been bitten by a bat pre-gig. Taylor Momsen is the name of the female who was the lead singer. But she, I mean, it was just a good act to start with. I tell you, the film, I found it there whilst I was talking. She portrayed the character of Cindy Lou, who in the film How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So there you go.
Right. Yes, great film. I love The Grinch. It's a super film.
She was a child actress then,
right,
so
okay.
but she's gone on to be a singer. But yeah, great stuff, well worth seeing. And I've got an impromptu gig this weekend as well. I'm going to see Stevie Nicks on a free ticket. So Stevie Nicks, I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan. So next week I'll be able to tell you what I thought of Stevie Nicks. So there you go.
I was at one the other day because I went to see the drummer of XTC. So the band's actually called XXTC. So it's literally just him and these are the two guys. Great gig, lovely gig. And then luckily I went to see the version of Boys from the Black Stuff the following night in London. That was brilliant production. So there we have it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was brilliant. And where was that on?
That was at the Garrick in London. It's bizarre because you're sitting there watching a play and you can hear the tube going underneath you. It's a weird venue. It's a strange venue, but what a fantastic production, because we all remember being at the match. You might not remember this, Steve, because this might be just the year beforehand. So remember being at the match, and people all will remember it, being at the match, and we'd had Boys from the Black Stuff, which was obviously great. Bleak as hell, of course, but magnificent. And then the Newcastle version being Auf Wiedersehen, Pep, which had little bleak moments in it, but let's be honest, it was generally very, very funny. And so you had that sort of yin and yang sort of thing going on. And being at the match and all the Newcastle fans against Liverpool singing Oz is better than Yossa, which was just fantastic. One of the great chants at the match. It really was a great chant at the match. But during let's be honest, a bleak time up here. And they absolutely nailed it.
The infamous phrase, of course, I'm Yossa Hughes, gives a job. It was brilliant. I've got that. It's a box set. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it after Secret Army. So I'm halfway through series 2 on that. So I will get through it at some point. It would be remiss of us on this pre-recorded show on Tuesday night not to talk about the England match. That's where we're going to finish, because this will go out pre-England. Semi-final night. What's your take been of England's progression, Sid? I mean, I find it hard to believe that I'm even uttering the words England and semi-final.
Well, my views haven't changed from last week. It's been absolutely abysmal to watch. It's terrible, and I keep saying it. Champions League players with a championship manager, and just terrible to watch. Terrible all-round formation. I mean, again, last week I thought, all right, Trippier's going to play on the right, and then within 2 minutes you realise he's left back again, or whatever he was. I still don't know why he played, whether he's left further up or whether he's left back. I haven't got a clue. But it was awful, just terrible to watch. Kane looks either injured or unfit. There seemed to be the whole Foden and Bellingham sort of. Ford was slightly better, but can they all play it together? Well, they should be able to play it together. It's just getting the blooming formation right, is my opinion. But I think he's just such a conservative manager. I mean, Gordon and Palmer, I would have had both of them on from the start. I know Saka did quite well, to be fair to him. But I personally would start with Gordon and Palmer on either wing. And I keep Kane. It's hard to go against him, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I probably would. But Tony has been terrific when he's come on, and so you could vary it up a little bit and drop Kane slightly back and put Tony further up if you need to. But why we're just messing around and waiting so long? Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it and push on and win. We've got the players to do it. We've got they've got players capable of doing it, and I'm expecting them to go on and win. I am expecting them to go on and win. I don't fancy the Dutch that much, to be perfectly honest. Were they third in their group?
Yeah, they haven't done well.
Yeah, I expect England to breeze past them, if I'm being honest. So I'm one of the rare few who's I expect them at some point to turn it on. So I'm going 3-0, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm expecting them to turn it on.
I've gone for another 1-1 and draw.
Well, that's what I had last week. I went with the penalties winning, and that's what happened.
Good at that.
So
yeah.
I am going to stick my neck out and say I expect us to win quite comfortably. I do. I don't think Holland, the Netherlands, I beg your pardon, they don't look that great to me. There's nobody in that team that makes me go, oh, he's good or he's great, and they've got an aging defence, now we've got the pace. Just play the bloody fast, put the speed merchants on, all of them have got really good close control. We've got the players to go out there and turn and tear them apart. And in a funny sort of way, the Netherlands play very similar football to English teams. So why don't we play at pace like we do in the Premier League? If we do, we'll absolutely we'll take them apart. That's the way I look at it. But unfortunately, Mr. Conservative doesn't really play that sort of way, and he's just too negative. I think he'll go irrespective of England win the tournament. I think he'll go at the end of it all, and I hope he does.
I think it'll go to penalties. I think it'll be 1-1. It'll go to penalties. That's my prediction. I think it's the way that the tournament's gone, and I think we'll get to the final. And obviously now people watching the show will know who the winners of tonight's game will face in the final. For me, Anthony Gordon's lack of game time has been surprising. The only thing I can really put it down to is one of two things: either Southgate's negativity and his insistence on playing it this way, or that maybe he's just not 100% confident in Gordon. Gordon, has he got through that injury? He was injured at the end of the season.
He was injured.
Do you think it could be something to do with that?
Or do you not think it maybe links back to that press conference that he made the other day?
I hope it's not that.
Because you know what, the light managers can be very touchy, and anything that's deemed to be out of line, then I'm just putting it out there. I would hope he's bigger than that, but we don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say the detriment of your team, though, cutting your nose off to spite your face. And then I guess when you look at the players he's brought on, I mean, Eze hasn't set the world alight. He was great, had a great end of the season, but hasn't set the world alight as far as England's concerned.
He hasn't, and again, he's probably played out the wrong position. I don't think he's a winger. He's through the middle. He's a through the middle guy. At St James's Park, when they played him through the middle, he was fabulous. He really was. They're just playing. Yeah, they've got the guys in the wrong. They've got them in the wrong positions. I don't get it.
Too many number 10s, 4, 5 number 10s, and not playing any of them in the right position.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, and they have to be a little bit more ruthless as well. And some of the choices that he's had, man. I mean, Gallagher wouldn't have made my squad, never mind be a starting player at times. I just don't get it. And you know what I hate? And I said it again last week, is the phrase, "Oh, he'll bring energy."
Yeah.
We'd all play and run around the field for 20 minutes. We'd bring some sort of energy before we keel over and have a heart attack, But
you're optimistic. You're optimistic in the timing that I would last.
I was thinking that myself, actually. I'll take a 0 off.
All right, we've both gone for wins, which is confident. I'm a little less confident in how we're going to do it, but I just hope we do. It would be nice to get to the final again, anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. It's Spain tonight, isn't it? Spain and France tonight.
Last night, because obviously this is pre-recorded. But yeah, mean, it's Spain and France, obviously.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Yes, of course, I keep forgetting.
we will already know the result, or people will already know the result in the chat. But I mean, either way, I think England can get through, and then it sets up a big final. So we will wait and see. And by the time we come on next week, England may well have another dust collector alongside the 1966 World Cup. We've got to win at some point, but they're almost symbiotically linked to Newcastle United, aren't they? in terms of success, because we last won something in 1969, and obviously they were sort of world champions at the time.
So there might be a turning of the tide for both.
This could be the year England win the Euros, Newcastle win a cup. So we'll wait and see. Keep our fingers crossed.
I know which one I'll celebrate more, but I'll celebrate both. But it would be lovely to see. I have to say.
As always, thanks to Rob for joining us. Sid, thanks very much for joining us as well. Look forward to seeing you next week, mate. And enjoy the match. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Look after yourself. Bye-bye, folks.